Before we start wrapping things up, man, what advice would you give to a young Nico Johnson that's gonna be watching this, either when it first uploads, a year from now, even 5 years from now, when they watch this? What advice would you give to a young Nico Johnson?
Um, yeah, that's crazy. I've never. That's the first time I've ever been asked that. That's
Yeah,
different.
I do my thing. I don't get my Shannon Sharp on. You feel me?
um, no, man. The one thing I would tell guys, man, is figure out your inner circle
Mm,
right now. And this is everything I'm about to say is from experience.
mm,
Figure out your inner circle right now. It don't need to be too big,
mm.
and it don't need to be crazy. You don't have to have all this, all that. You figure out
Entourage and
your
all
inner
that.
circle.
Right.
And so that way, whenever you're going through life, you're going through tough times because you can't get away from it. You're gonna have
Mm,
good times and you're gonna have bad times. The quicker you find your inner circle and people you can rely on, you can trust, and vice versa, that's gonna have your back through good and bad.
mm.
Um, it's so much. I don't even know how to explain it, man. It's. I wish, and let me back up. I'm gonna back up for you. I didn't find my inner circle. I didn't find my true inner circle until
Yeah.
after I was done playing. And
Right.
so that was the big mistake I made because when things got tough for me, I just had that shield on as a man. I
Yep.
don't want to express my feelings. And
Facts.
so because I didn't have the right people around me, I couldn't express that. So when I did express it, it came out as anger
Right.
at the wrong times.
Hey, what's up, Locker Room family? My name is Rodney Cooper, and I'm the host of Locker Room Talk with Coop. I got another great guest that's coming on the show. I got my guy, my brother, one of Alabama greats, Nico Johnson, coming on the show. Me and Nico, man, we had a great conversation. We talked about his story, advice to the youth, sports identity, adversity, and we also talked about what it was like to win 3 national championships in 4 years, which is crazy. And also, we talked about certain moments that happened in the LSU game that not too many people talk about. So me and Nico, we had a great conversation. I highly encourage you guys to watch this one all the way through. It was a lot of real moments in this conversation. And guys, make sure that you guys like, comment, share this video with somebody you think will enjoy it. And also hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell beside the subscribe button so that when we roll these episodes out, it will notify you guys and let you guys know when we put these episodes out. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. So check it out. So we got my bro Nico Johnson on the show. What's up, family? Welcome to the show.
Hey man, appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you feeling, man?
Feel good, man. In this coaching game,
Mm,
enjoying life, but I feel good, man. Blessed.
I got you. I got you. I know a couple hours ago, man, I ran 7 miles, man. That was the worst 7 miles of my life. I just can't see it. I like the goal is to run a half a marathon this year, so I just can't see myself running another 6 miles. So that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough.
I mean, I'm pretty the 7 miles. Shoot, I struggle with running one or two, so I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
Right, right. So let's jump right into it, man. So let the people know your story. You know, being a kid from Andalusia, Alabama, playing high school ball at Andalusia High School up until the point you started to play for the University of Alabama.
Yeah, you said it, man. I played at Bama, man, from 2009 to 2012.
Mm,
But before that, I wasn't even looking to play any sports. I wasn't looking to try to go to college because my mom's kids. Before I'm the youngest of five, three brothers, one sister.
mm,
Um, Nobody's ever went to college, and
mm,
so everybody's military. And
yeah.
so before I got any offers, anything from Alabama, I was looking to go into the Marines. I was trying to follow behind my dad, my brother, everybody's footsteps. And so whenever I got the offer from Alabama, my whole mindset started to change. I started to realize, well, maybe I do have a chance.
Mm,
But because before I was just playing the game because I love it.
mm,
And so my mindset changed, got the offer, and man, was blessed to, go to Bama and play from 2009 to 12, be on some, crazy, crazy teams as far as being able to, win in back-to-back national championships, be a part of three national championship teams, being able to start off 4 years, man,
mm-hmm.
and the rest is history. But um, it was fun, man. Small town country boy.
Right. Yep.
Um, I I I don't know, man. I never really. I've been so go go go, and
Right.
this is probably the first time I've ever stopped and just really like genuine thought about it. And
Mm.
so, what me and my teammates and coach staff was able to do back then, man, is really unheard of now. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so, yeah, just sitting here thinking about it, man. That whole time was I've been blessed, and
Yeah.
so, but yeah, man, I got to Bama in 2009. Um, it was crazy because coming from a small town,
Mm.
I was probably if not one of the best, if not the best on my team.
Right.
And when I got to Bama, reality set in, and it was
Mm.
more of a guys like Rolando McClain, um, guys like Ali Sharif,
Mm. Yep.
T. King, set me down. Chris Rogers and made me aware that them stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, that don't matter. You got to
Don't
recruit
matter.
yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And so from that point on, I took it with a grain of salt, and that's why we were so successful because we didn't take it as a whole class. We didn't take it as a personal attack. We
Mm.
knew what we were there for. And
Right.
so from 2009, man, 2012, man, worked my butt off. Was able to, like I said, start all 4 years, and
Mm.
you know, and through that whole process, be able to graduate, be my mom's first kid to graduate.
Right.
So it was a blessing, man. That
Mm.
whole career at Bama, man.
I know this has nothing to do with what we talking about, but when you said Marines, man, it just gave me nightmares because I remember when I was at Bama, we had to do this thing called 3 days of hell with these Marine guys, and
Yeah,
so I can't swim, so that we had to tread water in the deep end. So man, I was telling Coach Grant, I was like, man, let these dudes know I don't know how to swim now, because we was on the football field doing like jumping jacks, push-ups, all this stuff. I'm cool with that. Like I'm good on that, the physical part. So he had told me, he said, man, yeah, coach told me you was gonna do well at this, but we go see tomorrow 4 a.m. in the morning when adversity hits how you gonna respond. So I was telling the whole coaching staff, I'm like, man, hey, let these dudes know I don't know how to swim now. This like this is nothing. This is gonna be life or death right here. So man, we was trying to tread water. We had to be in the water like with the Nike Dry Fit jumpsuit on. So when you get in the water, that water that jumpsuit gonna soak the water up. So we had to go underwater, take the hoodie off, make sure it's on the right side, then hold it above water. When everybody, jacket is above the water, then we come up. So with me, I had one arm on the ledge, and I'm like taking it off with one hand, one hand, and the dude comes sliding over the Coop. Let go of the ledge or whatever. I said, man, if you don't get the hell out of my face, I said, man, y'all better come get this dude. I told you I can't swim, dog. So that just made me think about that whole story. But we'll just go past that. We'll go past that. So so what was your top 5 schools, coming out, and what made you choose Bama over those other schools?
Coming out, it was Alabama,
Mm,
Auburn,
mm,
LSU, um, Texas A&M, and USC. And the
mm,
reason USC is because I was close with Coach Norton and that staff that at
yeah.
USC with Pete Carroll that whole time.
Mm,
Um, but it came down to those guys. But then it eventually, during that process of recruiting, I
mm,
found out my mom was a type 2 diabetic.
mm,
And so during that process, I saw my mom, my last 2 years of high school, slip in and out of diabetic comas. And
mm,
that scared me. And
right.
so from that point, I didn't want to go too far away.
Mm,
And so I narrowed it down. Of course, I'm not going to Texas A&M or USC because it's too far away from my mom.
right.
So it came down to the final three as far as Auburn, Alabama, and LSU.
Right.
And then, when I saw my mom health really declining, I had to stay close. So
Mm,
it was going to have to be in state, either Auburn, Alabama.
mm,
And so I really was, and I'm gonna be honest, I really was liking Auburn
mm,
because I was really close with Coach James Willis there, that was there inside linebacker coach. But when
right.
Tuberville left, and then Nick Saban hired Coach Willis, it made my choice a lot easier.
Mm,
Because the guy that I'm close with that was just at Auburn, he's coming to coach at Alabama. That's
right.
a no-brainer.
Mm,
And I wanted to be closer to home. And so, and of course, my whole family, except for my uncle, was Alabama fans.
right.
So
Right. Right.
it was one of the situations. And so that's what it was, man. It
Mm,
came down to my mom. My
yeah.
mom's health was failing, and I just wanted to stay close to home.
Mm. Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that too, bro. And I know my mom, she's a diabetic too. So I remember that was the reason why I chose Bama as well because my parents they're older, so they can be able to come and see the games and stuff like that. I know my mom, she came to every home game except for one game, and it hurt her. It hurt her to death. And I know after every national anthem or whatever, I'll make sure I spot out in the crowd before I sit down before they call out. So yeah, man. So that's my why too. And shout out to all the mothers out there too, man. But
Yeah.
so growing up, who was the person who put the football in your hands, or was it just the sport itself that you gravitated to?
Nobody really put it. I don't think anybody put a ball in my hand. It was
Mm,
just from baseball to football.
mm.
Growing up, being outside playing kill the man with the ball, or
Right.
who dirt or whatever it was. That's just what it was. That's what we
Mm.
did.
Right.
Being from a small town, and so I played all sports.
Mm.
Coming up, and so whenever I got to eighth grade, seventh, eighth grade, my mom, well, honestly, a little younger, fifth,
Yeah.
fourth grade, she made me choose between the three because youngest of five, it's just a
Right.
lot.
Right.
And
Right.
so I chose basketball and football. And so I don't think nobody ever put it in my hand. I think it's just I love the sport.
Yeah.
Um, from then on. But it's crazy, man, because I really, people don't know, like I love basketball more than I love football.
Was
And
you
so
nice though? Was you nice on the court?
oh yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
you
Yeah.
some of your old teammates, we used to get it in at the, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
guys like that. But no, man, yeah, man, that was my first true love was
Mm.
basketball. But then when I realized playing against guys like Chris Hines
Yeah.
and guys
Yep.
who like this guy 6'6", 6'7". I'm not
Right.
getting any bigger. I'm a freshman then, but I'm 6'2". You know what I
Right.
mean? And so
You
yeah,
can't
I could
teach
play
height.
golf.
You can't teach.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I kind of shied away from that, and that's when the football deal took off. But
Mhm.
um, I don't think nobody ever put it in my hand. I think it was just I just love to be a
Mhm.
competitor from
Right.
day one. So yeah.
And it's crazy too how you said like a lot of people don't know like you really didn't have the intentions on going to college and playing a sport in college. Like you always had your mind on going to the Marines. So with all the accolades, bro, like just looking at you being a first team All State, being an All American, have All American honors by parade. As a U.S. Army All American, being a 5-star recruit, and you pretty much could have went to any school, and then you was one of the top linebackers in the country. So that's crazy that you really didn't have it planned to go to college and play a sport. You just pretty much loved the game and you had a strong why that motivated you to get to those schools. So what advice would you give to the young guys on what it takes to be great? Because yeah, they see the performance on the field, but I want them to be able to know like the sacrifice, the discipline, the work ethic you have to have. So what advice would you give to the young guys that go be watching this?
The advice I give them is, even at an early age, in whether it's middle school or high school,
Mm,
you got to find a way to separate yourself.
right.
And I say separate, I mean separate yourself in the classroom,
Hmm.
separate yourself on the field, on the court, on that gridiron, whatever it is, that mound, whatever it is, you got to separate yourself.
Right.
And so even in life, hanging around the right people, being
Hmm.
around the right crew, because that matters just as much.
Facts.
And so that's one thing that I'm proud that my mom kind of was hard on me about is being around the right people
Yep.
and doing right at all times and being consistent because that was the key for me. And so I started early creating that mindset of separating myself from everybody else. And it's
Mm,
crazy. I was just trying to separate myself because I just love to play the game, and I
right.
wasn't thinking bigger picture, separate myself against Vontez Burfict, that's the number one linebacker in the country at the time,
Right.
or the man. I wasn't even thinking none of that. It
Mm,
was just separate myself, staying out of trouble in the whole 9 yards, and to be able to get a degree from high school. Um, but the one thing that has came, that has continued to come up in my life, whether older, younger, whatever, is
right.
consistency.
Right.
Anything that you're doing, you got to be consistent, especially if it's good. Anything you're doing, you got to be consistent at it. If
Facts.
you got a ups and downs, which everybody go through,
Right.
and if you can stay consistent, continue to work hard, continue to believe in yourself, continue to have faith,
Mhm.
you're gonna be fine. I think a lot of times, especially nowadays, these kids are so quick to things don't go well, forget it, I'm done.
Right.
but that's not how it works. You know what I mean? And so I just think, if I had to tell, these younger guys, just, working on staying consistent.
Mm.
Things not going to go well. Things
Right.
not going to go well. The mindset I have now is, I'll leave them with is no matter how good or bad things are going, you
Mm.
always got to remember there's room for growth. And so,
Facts.
yes, it's going to be good. It's going to be bad. But if you can constantly remember, you got room for growth, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be fine on the other end. And so,
Mm.
yeah.
And then just like you saying, as far with the young people now, when things get tough, they leave or run from it, and that's not really preparing them for life. And like you were saying,
No,
as far as surrounding yourself around the right people, I just had spoke to some kids, earlier today, and I pretty much said like your environment would change you before you change your environment, so you need to get in the right
oh yeah,
environment. So that's
oh
exactly
yeah,
what you was talking about as far as surrounding yourself around the right people, because I don't want to get all spiritual and stuff like that, but as I say, as iron sharpens iron, as one man sharpens another. So when you get around the right group of people, y'all hold each other accountable and y'all level each other up. So I'm with you on that, bro. So with you coaching now, bro, for the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, congrats on that too. I know you said you've been coaching there for a couple of years, but for the high
appreciate it.
school guys that's going to be watching this, what are the top 3 to 5 things that you guys are looking for at high school guys during the recruiting process?
Um, of course, the tape is what it is. I
Mm.
mean, we're looking for the talent, but at the same time, one thing I love about what Coach Des, our new head coach, is doing here,
Yeah.
character is just important as anything.
Mm. Yep.
He's gonna want the right character guys around, of course,
Mm.
um, but at the same time, it depends on the position. It
Right.
depends on the position, and so what I can say, without really going into crazy detail,
Mm.
um, what we're trying to do here is not only bring good football players,
Right.
we're trying to bring men, good young
Mm.
men here.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And so and to be able to make a difference in these kids' lives, of course. But
Mm.
that's been our main focus. That's been our
Mm.
main focus. Is we know guys are good. We know guys are talented. We
Mhm.
want to be able to bring in the guys that's because we're a smaller G5 school.
Right.
We're not like other G5 schools that has opportunity to possibly play in the playoffs, which you
Mm.
never know going forward.
Right.
Um, so we're not getting the 5 stars. Yes, we've
Mm.
had guys on our roster that's had 5-star offers and stuff like that, but we're not consistently getting those guys. We
Mm.
got to get guys and mold guys and get guys to that level of play. And this school is very known for that,
Mm.
And so one thing I would say, man, we're looking for high character guys that just love the game.
Right.
Just love the game. Believe it or not, it's so hard to find, like we talked about, guys that truly, truly love the game.
Right.
And we've been blessed. We've got, past few years, we've got some great classes where guys love the game. And so what I can say is, like I said, we just trying to find those high character guys, man, that just
Mm.
loves the game as much as we do,
Mm.
and that's willing to put in the time and effort and grind it out and compete, man. And
Mm.
so, because talent is talent. If you're
Right.
good, we're gonna find you all the way from state to state, coast to coast, whatever. We're gonna find you.
Right.
Um, so Coach Des is doing a damn good job now, really opening it up and giving everybody a chance to recruit.
Mm.
Because not saying we didn't before with Coach Napier, he did a great job, but
Right.
um, now it's more of guys have a chance to grab reins and really go recruit guys. So it's
Mm.
everybody in the building that's not a position coach is actually excited about that. So
Mm.
yeah, man. But yeah, to answer your question, it's just high character guys, man.
Yep.
Of course, you're going to be a good football player. There's a lot of good football players out there.
Right.
So, and like I talked, what separates yourself. So the character, the guys that's not getting in trouble all the time, because that's a fact too. I mean,
Right.
so
Right.
but yeah, high character guys, man, that love the game
Mm.
as much as we do.
And I'm glad you said that too, because I be telling the young guys, I'm like, yeah, y'all doing y'all thing on the field, but trust me, a lot of these coaches gonna be asking these coaches and paying attention to what you're doing out the field too, how you carrying yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're your own brand. So you got to make sure you conducting yourself in the right way. So for you coming into Bama, as a 5-star recruit and one of the top linebackers in the country, I know you talked a little bit about it, in the beginning. So what was the biggest transition for you going from high school to college?
I'm not gonna lie. From high school, I had a little big head. When I started smelling myself a little
Right,
bit, like I
right,
said,
right,
5-star, number 2 at this position, number 2 at that position,
right,
and um, it was more so of the reality check as far as I'm not the best player on the team.
right,
I got to work, I got to grind, I got to hold my own, and that was a reality check for me. And coming from being one of the top recruits in the country, being the best player on my team, that was a reality check. But at the same time, the speed of the game and the detail and the work was it was different. And so I didn't know how to be a true professional, and so that was my learning curve of learning how to be a true professional. And so
right,
luckily, I'm the type guy. If I don't know something, I'm going to continue to work at it and try to get better at it. And
right,
so that's why I was able to, after Dante Hightower got hurt, I was able to, step into that role. Coach Saban was able to bless me with that and trust me to, take advantage of that. So getting that, my first year, that was my first real learning curve.
yeah,
And so later on in my career, the learning curves, there were stages of it, of when I was put into a role of being a leader and understanding. I didn't realize it until, Dante left, and I had to pretty much, I'm the guy. I'm the old head now.
right,
And so he always told me how difficult it was being that leader. And
mm-hmm.
I kind of blew it off. But then when I was pushed into that role, I realized, not only am I gotta hold others accountable, I also gotta hold myself
Myself
accountable.
accountable, right,
And so that was tough. That was different for me. And
right.
so we did a good job at it, of course. But yeah, man, that was my learning curve. Get going to Bama, man, because that first year was real difficult.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like especially with you guys, at every position, you guys got nothing but 5-star, 4-star NFL guys that's going to be playing on Sundays. Y'all got 2 to 3 at each position. So I can only
Hmm.
imagine, you coming in, and it's a humbling experience you got to go through. As far as playing, playing with and against those guys in practice. So let's talk about the game, against Florida, where Burton tries to do the famous jump pass, and they tried it against us, and you picked it off. You know what I mean? So take us through that play and what was going through your mind, because you timed it perfectly.
This is from the 2. It's Burton, jump pass. How about intercept the end zone? You tried too much, Tebow, and kaboom.
So take us through that play and give us like a behind the scenes play by play on what you were reading, so the fans can view it, through your eyes as a player.
It's crazy because I had dreamed and envisioned that I was going to make that play. I was blessed to play
That's
against Tim
crazy.
Tebow
Yeah.
in 2009, and so I don't know. I just kind of had a vision all that week. We had worked on it a little bit, and I
Yeah.
had a vision. It was weird, and so
Because it seemed like you knew where exactly it was going, bro. Like that's the crazy part about it. Like you was right, you was right there.
well, the thing, it was crazy because I had saw it. I watched film so much
Right.
that week, and
Preparation.
then when it happened, it's like I can't even remember. It's hard to explain, man, because that whole play
Mm-hmm.
slowed
And it's slow.
down.
Yep. Yep.
And so I saw, just being honest, I saw the O lineman, because if you watch that play, I kind of stepped up, but then I
Mm.
saw the O lineman didn't climb. But at the same
Mm.
time, out of my periphery, I saw the tight end,
Right.
and so I was like, man, it's I don't know, it's so hard to explain, man, because it's weird. Even thinking back on that, man, because I dreamed about it. I had a vision that I was going to intercept that ball. And whenever the play and the action happened, I'm just like, man, I know he's not jumping. And then when he
Right.
went in the air, it was more like everything just slowed down. I didn't hear
Mm.
nothing, didn't hear the crowd.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know, man. I was just blessed to be able to make that play, man. But that was one of the
Mm.
moments in my career where being able to see yourself, the old saying, being able to see yourself make plays,
Right.
and and it happens. And that's what
Mm.
happened, man, on that play, man. It was crazy. It was
Mm.
crazy.
Dope, bro. Dope. So we're gonna talk about another game too, against LSU. With TJ Yeldon caught the screen pass to win the game in 2012. But what people don't talk about, bro, is the drive when LSU had the ball. You know what I mean? It was a big 3rd and 2, and the defense got to stop it. You made the big play, bro. You got out the fullback block. and you made the tackle. Then after that, they went for it on 4th and 1, and I think my bro DJ Petway made that play.
Didn't get it.
No, and sure. Will Les roll the dice? They're going to go wild.
And it's going to be Spencer Ware.
Yes, they are.
And he's going under center.
I don't know.
I don't either. Let's see what kind of spot he got.
So talk about that, bro. Because people don't talk about that. They just talk about the game, you know, the TD, the touchdown. But you guys making that start was huge, bro.
Yeah, my bad, man. I'm walking outside, man.
Nah, you good, bro.
But yeah, no, they don't. They don't talk about that.
Right.
I had strength and conditioning coach here. Is actually he played at LSU. One of our strength coaches played at LSU.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of LSU guys in the building, and so. Yeah, so I joke with him about that play all the time because nobody, like you said, talks about it. All they remember is the screen.
Right.
And so, yeah, man, that game was it was different. It was one of those, of course, back and forth type games. But I don't know, man. Looking back on it, it was a long drive. I don't honestly, man. I just don't remember us just. I don't know, man. That whole situation was crazy. Because if you really think about it, you know, now that I look back, like if we don't stop them, we lose that game.
Facts, yeah.
And we don't play for a national championship, and so on and so on. And so, I just remember. I remember that whole drive because one, we was tired.
Right.
Everybody's hurting. You know, possibly about to lose the game.
Right.
But at the same time, of course, when we go through things like the fourth quarter and stuff like that, it created that mindset of just, and you know, you've seen us work,
right?
Never giving up. And so that one play on 3rd down, I just remember watching film earlier that week, and you know, Big Copeland, number 44, their fullback, always had a tendency when he was going a certain way or going in which gap. And so anytime he was leaning to his right or leaning to his left, that's where he was going. And so when he was balanced, he was always running straight ahead. And so that's why you see him on that one play. I just ran through the gap,
right?
You know, was blessed to stop him and be able to, you know, make that play. That's one of the plays people always talk about, but, you know, TJ Yeldon play overrides it all the time.
Right. And that's dope too. Like the simple fact of you know, watching film and studying film and just paying attention to the fullback, you know, basically where he leans left or right or not, you could pretty much tell like where exactly he's going based on where he's leaning. So that's crazy, bro. So like you talked about, bro, you know, with you going to Bama, you know, you have a lot of teams at the beginning of the year. You know, the main goal is to win the national championship. All right, cool. But bro, with you being a part of not one, not two, but 3 national championships, bro, like that's crazy. Talk about what that experience was like and what it's like to be a part of like the standard of basically Alabama is either, you know, national championship or bust. Because a lot of teams, you know, they talk about that being the goal, but you know, every year you guys are either there or in the conversation. So talk about that, bro.
You know what's crazy? You know, Saban, you know, he had us to the point where we was never satisfied. And so in 2009, we won a championship. But, you know, my class, meaning Trent Richardson, Dre Kirkpatrick, you know, DJ Fluker, Chance Warmack, all of us part of Kevin Norwood, part of that class. Me and Trent were the only – Trent and Dre were the only 2 that actually played, you know, in that freshman year.
Right.
And so everybody, you know, including myself, honestly, all of us felt like we didn't contribute, even though we did, but we felt like we didn't contribute.
Right.
And so when 2010 came around, it was what it was. We lost to LSU, we lost to South Carolina, we lost to Auburn. That crazy ending with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And so that year that 2010 team was the most talented team, and we lost 3 games. And so it motivated us to want to win in 2011. And so whenever we lost the 9-6 game against LSU, and was blessed to be able to win again, it was just what I'm trying to say. It was one of those things, man. Every year, it was always something. People was doubting us. Like in 2010, from 2010 to 2011, everybody said we wasn't going to win in 11 because we had lost Julio Jones, Mark Ingram, Marcel Dareus, and all those guys. And we came back and, we were blessed to win.
Right.
Well, when 2011 was over, we're not going to be good on defense because we lost Mark Barron. We lost, I think, Dre and Trent and all those guys, which is fine. I get it. Robert Lester and all that. I get it.
Right.
But that motivated us.
Right.
And so one thing about Saban that I don't know if they know, once that national championship game is over, that bowl game is over, he has a new meeting that same day you get back to campus, and he tell everybody, this team hasn't accomplished nothing. Let's get to work.
Right.
And so we was always in the mindset of on to the next. And so honestly, man, even my entire time at Bama, I never stopped to think about, to enjoy the moment. And that's one of my faults, and I hate that I didn't do that. But yeah, man, we was crazy blessed, man, to be able to, like you said, win 3 out of 4, and easy possibly could have won 4 out of 4.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But complacency kicked in. But at the same time, man, it was crazy, man. But honestly, a lot of us, man, they'll tell you the same thing. We never really stopped and really just thought about it. We never really stopped and thought. We was on to the next opportunity, on to the next opponent. Just like Coach Saban think. He had us thinking the same way.
Right.
And so, man, even now, I never, we talking about it now, but I never really stopped to think about, we really did something special, because you don't hear about nobody winning back-to-back national championships and, our class winning 3 out of 4 years. Like, our class ended up being the most winning class, I think, ever. And so, yeah, man, we was blessed, man. But that was one of the reasons, man. We just, one, we found self-motivation. And 2, we just always wanted to prove people wrong. And then at the same time, my head coach had us to the point where it can be anybody. Kent State or anybody can beat us.
Right.
And so when you have that mindset that anybody can beat you at all times, I mean, you're gonna work your butt off to try to accomplish. And of course, things fell our way. We lost to Texas A&M and lost to LSU in 2011. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
right. Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, because it's crazy. All y'all pretty much say the same thing. It's crazy because so Christian Jones, he said the same thing on his episode. He said, I think they had a meeting, it wasn't no longer than 48 hours. And they had a meeting and Coach Saban got pissed off. It was like, this not last year's championship team. I don't know what the hell y'all thinking. Like, it really got on to the guy, and he was like, bro, we just won like 24 hours ago. But it's so crazy, like how he's always on to the next thing. Like, he never get complacent and sit in that. But, it can be a gift and a curse, because just like you saying, like, you really didn't, get a chance to enjoy the moment. But that's just the standard that he holds you guys to, and that's what it takes, to be great and be elite. And I mean, Alabama football has that resume. So go ahead. You about to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what it is, man. That's why Saban has been able to have success, sustained for a long period of time, because of the players. The key to it is the buy-in. If you got guys that come in and buy in, you got freshmen that come in and buy in, and sophomores that continue to buy in.
Right.
And like, you want to play right away, but you most likely you're not.
You might have to sit down for a minute. And then on top of that, you coming in as 5-star recruits. Your confidence at all time high. You come in, you might have to sit down. Just like you just got the opportunity. When the injuries happen, you stepped in, you was ready for the opportunity. So, but go ahead.
And at the same time, I mean, looking back on it, man, I used to be upset with Coach Saban. Like, man, I just balled out in 10, even though looking back, I didn't play my best ball.
Right.
But I just started every game, for you in 10. Like, why are you still putting me through the fire as far as for 2011? And so that's when it created that, no matter how good or bad things are going, you still got room for improvement.
Right.
And so when that created, it made me look at things a lot different as far as the game and as a player. And so, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy just listening to you talk, man. Like, that's why I love the beauty of sports because those principles are so universal. Like you can apply that to anything, like in life. Like it's crazy. So what was it like, bro? Playing in, you're playing in front of 100,000 at Bryant Denny for the first time. What was that like?
Um, Me, man, I had a good way of toning the crowd out.
Yeah.
And not being tunnel vision, but it's
Right.
like when I caught the interception or against Florida, or when I scooped and scored the touchdown at Michigan State. Like it's like I never really hear. It's weird, but I never really hear the
I know
crowd.
what you mean. Yep. I know
And
what you
so,
mean. Yep. Yep.
you know what I mean? You never. So, but being able to play in front of those fans was everything. Was
Yeah.
everything. So I wasn't a fan, growing up of Alabama, but my family was, and so
Right.
I had the opportunity to go to the game, but to be able to play in that stadium in front of those fans, and because what a lot of people don't realize, our fans put a lot of pressure on our players.
Right.
They
For
do,
sure. For sure.
and so
They spoil too. Like I said, this stuff they doing it's not common. It's like it's not easy, bro. Like this is crazy. I can only imagine like the amount of pressure, stress, anxiety like some of them guys go through, but they gotta keep this demeanor. But I can only imagine, like the human side of them. I can only imagine like the amount of anxiety they have to go through, the pressure, like, I can't make too many mistakes because it get magnified because, it's Bama. So
And so, but other than that, man, it was good to be able to, play in front of the band, play in front of the crowd. And then at the same time, we used to go to the rec and play with the basketball players.
facts. Fact. Y'all
And
too
so,
strong, y'all too fast. Y'all out there filing like crazy, but go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Go ahead.
and so, and to be able to, you guys be our peers,
Right.
and yeah, we get to come to you guys' games and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Right.
Yeah, you know about basketball, but we really don't know about basketball. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you know what I mean? And so
Facts. Yep.
be able to, have classes with you guys, hang out, go out with you guys, kick it, and then be able to have the opportunity to showcase our talent to you guys.
Right. And
And
vice versa.
you know what I mean? So
Right.
that was important to us too. And it was just kind of like that athlete group,
Right.
to be able to perform for you guys and showcase what we can do, as well. And so, yeah, man, it was crazy, man, to be able to 100,000, man, to be able to do that is just unreal. And so
Yeah.
now as a coach, I'm coaching in front of 25,000, 50,000 people, everybody losing their mind. I'm like,
Right. That's
this
light. That's light.
thing
Right. Yeah.
is good.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
good.
funny too. Like I tell like some of the people I had conversations with, I say, man, all of us we're around each other all the time, especially freshman year. Like we in some of the same classes, and then we at Bryan Hall, like we at the dining hall, like we at the Ferg together, like all this stuff. So we always around each other. But bro, I done heard the stories when it comes to the 4-quarter stories, the 110s from Brian Vogler, Justin Fowler, aka Nudie. He was talking about one. They was talking about one year when you guys had to run 32 110s, and Nudie said Kenny Bell's about to fight everybody that day. So what's a funny 4-quarter story that you can share with the people that you could think of off the top of your head?
That one.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't know how they told it, but we was actually in the stadium that day. It was hot.
Hot. Yep.
Have like 18 110s or something like that.
Right.
And I can't remember who it was. We was on our last rep. The last DB group or the skill group is coming down.
Yeah.
And I remember because I can't remember who the DB was. He had got some ice before. And of course he had times. And so they missed the time. And so 18, now it turns into 19. Now we got to run another one. Now everybody's about to fight. Now it's already hot. And then 21, 22, and it went all the way to 30 something, man. And so
That's
that
crazy.
story, it's crazy. I actually told somebody a story a couple of days ago, man. That's one story I can remember. Besides 4 quarters just being hell,
Right.
that's one thing I remember, man, that will always stick with me, man. Cause it was so bad that day. I really started questioning if this really what I want to do.
Is
man.
this for? I'm fat.
It was
Hey,
hell.
I said that too. I said, man, every athlete that been like that had that moment and be like, is this really for me? Because you had those moments. You had those moments. People don't really understand it, bro. But I know Brian, he was talking about too. He said y'all have like these this 40 test where y'all run like I think like 10 40s in a row. And he says it's like 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes and then you black out.
Worst experiences I've ever had. And then we had a like our end of summer conditioning test, and every single year we did this thing called a 40 test. And you got to run 10 40s consecutively back to back to back to back to back and hit
Right.
your time.
Time,
So they
yeah,
time
yeah.
you beforehand.
Yeah.
And they have some kind of formula to where like they know you're not going to run, your 4-4 on rep 6 or
Right.
7, 8, 9. But that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2 minutes and you black out.
Oh, yeah, you don't remember anything after that, man.
Yeah.
That wasn't as bad for me.
Yeah.
That wasn't as bad. But them 110s, man, them 110s was hell.
32 in the stadium, I can only imagine, bro. Like that's
It was
different.
And the bad thing was it was hot.
Right.
It was during June. It was July. My bad. It was hot, and then of course you already got the metal. I don't know what they got in there now because I haven't been back. You had the metal bleachers, so the sun in, so it's a lot hotter. But it's
Yeah.
and so yeah, man, that's probably one of the craziest stories, man. 4-quarter stories. It just 4 quarters hell. I
Yeah.
mean, it was. I mean, yeah. Anybody you talk to, yeah, it was just hell. The only person I really seen kill it like that was like Mark Ingram. Other than that, I ain't seen nobody kill 4-quarter just all the time, every time.
And I kind of know when y'all about to go through it, because when I see you guys and y'all looking like zombies, y'all looking just wore out. I say, oh yeah, it's different.
Oh, yeah.
It's different,
man. But I mean, it created that mindset of because we knew we was gonna get everybody's best,
right?
And that, and it's still the case today. You're gonna get everybody's best, and so you got to push us to the limit and see when adversity hit how we're gonna respond. And so,
Yep.
We was blessed. I was blessed to be with guys like Damian Square and Rolando McClain, Dante Hightower, guys like that responded the right way. And so being able to learn from those guys was everything.
Dope. So when it comes to trusting the process that Saban preaches, I think it's dope because it's instilled to each of you guys. From the fans that have been listening to this, y'all can tell like each of these guys pretty much say the same thing, just in a different way, probably word for word. But the dope part about it, like I talk about, like those universal principles, like you can not only apply that to sports, but you can apply that in life as well. So what does trusting the process mean to you?
It means everything. It means everything because, and just being honest, whenever I got to Kansas City, and it's bad.
Yep.
I had the mindset I had because I had already been through a process as far as Bama. But when I got to Kansas City, I was blessed to get drafted. I wasn't playing my best ball, and I didn't realize that as just mine. I didn't realize that until after I got done playing that I wasn't playing my best ball.
Right.
And so I didn't trust the process that Coach Reed and Coach or John Dorsey had in place as far as everybody there with the Chiefs, that they was trying to give me time to develop, and get my feet down so I can hit the ground running. I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, oh, they're messing me over, this and this and that. But that wasn't the case. I was immature. Even at that age, I was immature, wasn't looking, had blinders on, and rightfully so, because I was trying to prove people wrong and trying to prove people wrong. And so I wasn't thinking. I was full of anger and frustration, and so I wasn't paying attention to the process. And so I got caught up in all that and stopped working like I should have. Everything I did to get to that point. And so what the process means to me, man, it's everything, because the Saban process is put in place for a reason.
Right.
And if people don't know Saban, us players and coaches that coach with him, they know the process. Saban has, paid attention to you from high school to college, and he knows, the process. Every individual is different. He knows the process that that he needs to put on the player before he put them on the. He's not going to put them out there unless he have to. Like a couple years ago, the two freshmen inside linebackers had to start. That probably would never happen again in Saban era.
Right.
But that was because of injuries.
Right.
And so he knows the process for these guys. So that way, whenever they hit the field, they're giving their best. What word am I looking for? Their best product out there, so they can be successful, in the future. And so that process is everything. Because without that process, I wouldn't have been, have the mindset that I have now, or being able to become the player I was. So that's what a lot of guys got to, realize. And I'm sure guys at Bama, because you see like the running back, Jay Robinson, he's going to get drafted this year high.
Right.
Man, the kid left 3 or 4 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
3 years ago, but stuck it out and trusted that process. As far as I understand, I'm just playing special teams. But I think because of, the Kenyon Drakes of the world and the Eddie Lacy's of the world and all those guys, guys being behind Derrick Henry, guys like them being around Trent and Mark Ingram and all those guys. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's just if you're willing to sit there and just grind it out, for a couple of years, you're going to benefit, and it don't matter where you're at. It's a process, wherever school you're at. It's just, are you willing to just put your head down and work? And I get it. You get situations like Jalen Hurts, situation. I understand that.
Right.
But process in place for a reason, especially there. But I wouldn't have been the player and the man I am today if I wouldn't have really bought into that process. Because you buy in, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be successful down the road. Because Saban ain't going to just put you through a process just to be putting you through a process.
Right.
You got guys, of course, you got guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick and all those guys that come in as just, they're guys.
Right,
so
right.
But everybody else, you're part of that other percent that got to go through a process before you're able to step on the field. And so I enjoyed that process. I love that process because it gave me a chance to develop it. It gave me a chance to grow. And so, yeah.
And then shout out to Brian Robertson too, because I can only imagine him had to sit down for all those years, and then when the opportunity presented, so he was ready and he put on the performances. Like you said, he gonna get drafted high. And then I know not too long ago I went to a Nick at Noon, to hear Saban speak, and it's crazy just to hear like how obsessed he is with psychology, with human behavior, how to get guys motivated, how they're wired, like studying everything about them. And it just goes to show what you're saying, like he already knows everything about you in the process he has to take you through before he has to put you on that field, because he's been studying you from high school up until now. So I could definitely tell that, because he, like, his mind, bro, and his memory, like when like them older guys that was there, he was talking about the first time he met those guys, and like, word for word pretty much was very specific on like the different memories like he done had with these different players. And I said, man, his mind is crazy when it comes to that stuff.
Oh yeah, he's and I tell people all the time, the game changed from 2011, 2012.
Yep.
And Coach Saban saw that, and so what he did was a chess move was, I got to go get a guy like Lane Kiffin,
right?
Because the offense in the league was changing, and so his mind was 3 years ahead of everybody else,
right?
And so now else is really playing catch up, because if you really look back at it, LSU, Ruben Randall, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, they had talent like with Alabama, like the receivers and all that, Smitty and all of them. They had that talent, but because of the scheme and the system didn't match. And so they was really talent-wise, they was Alabama before anything. The scheme just didn't match the talent. And so Saban saw, and he went and got a Lane Kiffin that where things the offense-wise was about to change. It wasn't going to be that pound anymore.
Right.
And so he's always steps ahead, man. And so, yeah, Georgia was able to, beat him this year. But I promise you, this year is going to be a lot different.
Different, right? Yeah.
He's already, and Saban, though. I mean, I guarantee he didn't expect to be, in that national championship. And I hate to say that, and he probably killed me for saying this, but they was a young team.
Right.
It was a young team.
Battling a lot of injuries.
They battled injuries like crazy.
Yep.
And was still able to play for a national championship. I really think they they overachieved with everything they had to go through.
Right.
And so I know being an ex-player, that's no excuse, next man up type
Right.
shit. But
Right. Exactly.
then it deal with so much. And so, but they was able to get there and get that experience. So, with a Saban, led team, if he's one of the best at coaching off experience, whether it's good or bad. And so, when you go through something, whether it's good or bad, he's probably, if not the greatest person or coach that's able to twist and turn it to where it's a teachable moment. And so, of course, it'll be a teachable moment for the players and, of course, some of the coaches. And so, yeah, man, it's crazy, man. But yeah.
So what's a funny Saban story, that you could share with the fans? Because I done heard some crazy stories from when, Bo Scarborough, he was talking about, he said, man, it was one practice, it was real physical and stuff like that. He said, Coach, they hold him, man, they hold him. And Saban had said, hey, Coach. He said, hey, Bo. And Bo said, Bo said, what's up, Coach? He said, hold this and grab this stuff. Yes, and then so Nudie said, it was one time Saban was joking around with him saying that, TJ Yeldon was his daddy. and Nudie got mad. And he said he started mugging Saban. And then Saban caught him mugging him. And he said, dude, you gonna stop looking at me like that? Like he said Nudie ready to fight him. What's a funny story that you can share with the fans, man?
I don't think I really have one, man, because we was on the defense side of the ball.
Okay, yeah.
And he just always
Right.
But it was one practice though. BJ Scott, from Mobile, Alabama.
Yep.
He had kept messing up on a play, man, and I think it was miscommunication from Coach Saban or the DB coach to BJ, so he kept messing it up.
Yeah.
And so BJ messed around. Saban's getting on, and BJ messed around and said something about, I don't know what book you read. And so from that point on, Saban was like, look, you fucking mean book I'm reading. And so he kind of spazzed out on BJ.
Yeah.
And so, man, I always remember that moment because he spazzed out on BJ. And so we thinking, okay, he spazzed out, cool, he done, whatever.
Right.
And so I remember, I think we told Kyle Pennington or I think it was Kyle P to get in. And Kyle went in, he did it right. And so that very next play, Coach Saban back at it again, going at BJ.
Yeah.
I don't know what you talking about, fucking book I read. You gonna need it. But just as
yeah.
And that's probably, it wasn't funny, but it was funny because somebody else besides linebackers getting cussed out.
Right.
I don't really have a story, man, because he was always on us, hard on us more than anybody.
Right.
I don't know why, hard on us linebackers more than anybody.
Yeah.
And so any chance we get to avoid him, oh man, we didn't.
Yeah.
We only talked to him who was up in the building at practice. So
yeah,
it was just, that was it.
Yeah, I got you. So now, bro, this on you. I know you're a coach. I know you can't, you can only say so much, but what's a funny story? Because I always talk about, man, the memories we have, with our brothers, with our guys, or in the locker rooms, in the dorms, in the apartments, and things like that. In the cafeteria, not in the caf or whatever. So, what's a funny story that you done had with your brothers that you can share with the fans? Like I said, now you're a coach. You know what I mean? So we gotta keep it in the fraternity. We can only share so much, but what's a funny story that you can share?
I don't even think I can tell you. I can't even tell you. We have to talk about it on the side.
Yeah, we talk about it online. I got you.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you, bro. I respect that. So we go past that. So bro, go ahead.
We used to have good times, man. That's one thing I miss more than anything. Yeah, we wanted to and all that, but being able to, put my helmet on and be with my brothers, man, and camp. I found a couple of videos I sent to John Fulton and all those guys where we playing cards and stuff during camp in the dorm in Bryan Hall. But man, it's good, man. But those stories, I'll make sure I let you know. But
I got you. I was there. I was there in 11, so I was there. We ain't gonna talk about. We gonna talk about it offline. I got you. I got you. Hey, I would just say on the strip. We was on the strip. Hey, we go. Yeah. Hey, but look though. Yeah, right. So, bro, the three things I talk about on, all the different episodes, to entertain, inspire, and inform the people. So, I want people to see the human side of us. We all go through trials and tribulations. We all have ups and downs in life. So we was talking about it a little bit before we, started the episode about, identity. But, what's some adversity, that you'd have been through up until this point that you don't mind sharing with the people?
Whenever I retired, I got hurt and I was really forced away from the game.
Yep.
And that was new. And so I've been playing the game since the age of 4. And so I struggled with, what was next.
Right.
I didn't know what to do. I have a degree, have a master's, and criminal justice, arts and science.
Right.
I want to go, FBI, CIA, and all that. But when I started trying to pursue that, I realized I didn't have the passion. And the love that game. And so that was difficult for me. It kind of set me back. And so I'm trying to go different routes, and I can't find that same passion and drive.
Right.
And so for about a year and a half, I struggled with trying to find that identity because I didn't know who I was.
Right.
And so, man, when I slipped into a depression, started drinking heavy, just being honest.
Yeah.
Just it was bad having bad thoughts of what I want to do, what's next. And people don't realize when you have that identity of being a football player or a basketball player, whatever it is,
right,
have that anymore. It's tough. It's
right.
tough.
It is.
So,
yep.
And I before tell me that, work on, creating outside football. Young, dumb, listening, but really not. And so whenever I went through it, man, it was really tough. And so, like I said, I slipped into depression, started drinking heavy, and kind of road of honestly suicidal thoughts, man. My mind wasn't what it was, man. And so it was a difficult time for me, but one thing I'm proud of, I got through it by the grace of God, man. That's really the only reason, man. Friends turned their backs on me that knew I was going through times. Different people just turned their backs on me that I looked up to and thought I could rely on, and
right.
it was about what I can give them, not hey, are you doing okay type things. And so
right.
Being a competitor, not want to give up mentally, that's what brought me out. Besides God, that's what brought me out.
Right.
When I realized all I had in my corner, I was okay with it. You know what I mean? I was okay with it because that's all I needed. And that's how I've been ever since. That's all I needed. And so, everybody that wasn't there for my struggle during that time, like I honestly pushed them away.
Right.
I pushed them away. It let me know when I was at my lows, nobody was there, but when I was at my highs, everybody was.
Yep. Facts. Yep.
But that's one thing. When I come across guys that's struggling with that identity, I try to help out as much as possible because I know how difficult it is.
Yeah, you'd have been there.
And so, man, I've been fighting that fight. It's been a fight, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay fighting the fight. And so, man, because I struggled with my identity, I was like, well, let me try to get back into coaching. A guy in Dallas, he was coaching 13U ball. So we started coaching that, man, and I kind of got bit by that coaching bug, man. The TV, the team, the Outlaw, that Friday Night Tights. So we used to travel and play all those guys, man, and was blessed to be a part of that. Play those games and go to national championships, play against Dog and stuff like that. And so I got bit by the bug and ended up helping the same guy out with his high school team. And I kind of told myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to do it at the best level, at one top level, of course.
Right.
And so I started here, going on 4 years ago. And so, man, I've been blessed to be here, man, because besides the grace of God, I wouldn't have got through it if I wouldn't been a part of, football. And so, man, it's a tough road, man. People don't realize, man, they just see the glamour, but they don't realize how difficult it is to have an identity. And then all of a sudden you don't have that no more. And so it's probably the hardest things to deal with. But I try to help guys out as much as possible that I know that reach out. At the same time, still working on myself. And so,
Right.
yeah, it's been a battle, but I'm fighting that fight, man. Enjoying coaching ball, man. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for sharing that, man, because the people that gonna be watching this, whether it's outside of sports and they have their identity tied to something else and they get taken away from it, like they can go through that same process. So with you sharing that, it can help somebody else as well. And I know for me personally, I went through that same thing. I was playing at the top of my game overseas. I had a big contract coming up, and my agent told me just keep doing what you're doing to stay healthy. 2 weeks later, I injured my wrist. I injured my left hand. I fell on it. I tore 2 ligaments in my wrist. I had to sit out for a year. That contract gone. So it took me some time to get through that, to get rehabbing and stuff like that. My whole left side weak and all that. And I went through depression. I went through a dark space. And we taught as men to be strong. So I didn't open up to nobody. I held all that in, and it hurt me more than it helped me. You know what I mean? So I went through those dark times and all that stuff like that. And then when I made the transition, like I played with the Rockets G League, ended up getting waived, not because of my talent, but because of, guys going from the NBA down to the G League. And, that year they had a veteran team, so they sent all the young guys down to the G League. So they had to play those guys, not with the odd man out. And the G League coach, he pretty much told me, he said, man, any other year you've been one of the go-to guys, one of the starters on the team, but, we paying these guys all this money. We got to play these guys. And he said, I'd be doing you disservice by just seeing you at the end of the bench, not dressing you out or whatever. So that took the air out of me. I went through a lot with that. But when I made the transition into business, ended up doing really well, was the top guy at the marketing firm or whatever and stuff like that. But I was still thinking about hoop. I was still thinking about what could have happened if I never got injured. So I'm still going through that. I'm still fighting those demons in my mind. And, July 29th, 2018, I got in an accident, car accident, fell asleep at the wheel, flipping
Oh,
6 or 7 times. You know what I mean? So, that moment, though, I would always say was the best moment of my life because it woke me up. It changed my perspective on I need to stop focusing on the past. I need to focus on where my feet are moving forward because God gave me another opportunity at life. You know what I mean? So I'm with you on that, bro. Like we definitely go through that transition period because, like we talked about offline, we all have an expiration date. You know what I mean? And we got to figure out, what's the next move for us. So, bro, with you getting drafted in the fourth round by the Kansas City Chiefs and the experiences you have had, what advice would you give to the college guys, making that transition from college to the pros?
The one thing I will tell guys, man, is not to get it, and let me stop. Everybody want to get drafted first round. Everybody want to get drafted high. Everybody want to be in New York, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is. Everybody want to be that day one.
Right.
But the reality is not going to happen for everybody.
Right.
And so, yeah, you can get drafted second round and so on and so on. But if you don't go in those spots, you don't have to freak out.
Right.
You don't have to freak out. Continue to work, continue to grind, and it's going to be okay.
Right.
I've been, with some teams where I got beat out, but I didn't get drafted. And I had played for 3 national championships, played at Alabama, and so on. And so I just don't want guys to really put that extra pressure on themselves all because of they didn't get drafted where they wanted to. And that was my thing. I was so angry because I thought I should have got drafted higher that I didn't realize I should have been mentally and physically where my feet was.
Right.
And
Yep.
so don't get me wrong, I was blessed to get drafted by the Chiefs, blessed with the opportunity, but I was so angry to prove people wrong. And I was so angry to prove people right. Because what happened, I got hurt in preseason, and now the season started, and I'm behind on the 8 ball. They bring people in, and it's just like, I don't know, that anger and frustration just grew. And so now my blinders are on. I'm not seeing clearly. I just don't want guys to get caught up in if they don't get drafted, or if they do get drafted early, if they do get drafted mid rounds. Like, it's all a great opportunity.
Right.
But I just don't want guys that don't get drafted where they want to add extra pressure on themselves. Just get back to work. Like, everybody's good. Everybody's talented. It's just how you work. Because when you get to that level, it's all predicated on how you work. If you work and put in the time and do what you need to do, eventually it's gonna happen. And even sometimes it doesn't happen. I've been in those situations. And so the only thing I would tell guys, man, is just don't add extra pressure on themselves all because circumstances don't happen how they want it to or how they feel like it should, the game of football is not going anywhere. So continue to grind that thing out, and everything else is going to fall in place for you. I've seen that so many times with teammates, guys that wasn't my teammates. And so, man, things that happen. Because honestly, the guys that I know that's good friends with me that didn't get drafted, Vontez Burfict and all those guys, like, they're even more hungry than everybody else, the guy that got drafted first round.
Right.
And so it's weird to say and crazy to say, but that's the nature of the business. So at the end of the day, I just don't want guys to add that extra pressure on themselves and just go out and play the game that's just still football.
Right.
So people get caught up in the business side of the NFL, which is cool and fine, but you get caught up in that, and like me, I forgot to play the game. I got caught up in the business side and forgot to play the game, man. So that's one thing I would tell them. And probably another thing is, the quicker and faster you become a true professional at your craft, the better you're going to be at the next level.
Right.
And so, and what I mean by that, we got a linebacker here that's preparing for the draft here at UL. And one thing I tell him, once you go, you know, the season was over, you worked your butt off, you've been grinding and all that. You go play in your bowl game as far as, you know, with NFL teams and stuff. You come back. A lot of times young guys take time off.
Right.
I say, no, don't take time off. You continue to grind, it's going to separate yourself. And then I even said, whenever, you know, you do that, go to your pro day and come back. Yeah, you might take a couple of days off, but you got to get back to work. I said, this is a business. And the quicker, you know, college guys realize it's a business, and the quicker they become a true professional, the easier it be for them, no matter what team you go to, because it's all the same business. And so that's one thing I would tell guys, man, is one, become a true professional now than later.
Right. Fact.
And then is don't add that extra pressure on yourself, because it's still the game of football. It's no different. It's no different, man. One of our running backs actually just broke, you know, the 49ers all-time rookie, you know, rush record. And so led the playoffs in all rushing yards. And so he's from a small G5 school here that didn't have a lot going on. You know, got drafted late, I think 6th round. And so he ended up being one of the starters closing the season out, and probably going to end up being one of those guys that get a big time contract down the road. And so he just stayed the course, stayed the process, like you talked about earlier, and just understand his worth and his ability, man, and not adding any extra pressure on himself. And so, and one thing he does well is he's a true professional. He take care of his body, take care of, you know, anything off the field that he needs to take care of. And then, of course, he works at his craft and gets better. And so it's just one of those things, man, that you know, is close to my heart, just being a true professional and not adding extra pressure on yourself. Because once you add extra pressure, along with all the outside pressure, it becomes very difficult to manage in that business.
And that's dope, man. And for all the college guys, even the high school guys, you know, just take that wisdom that, you know, Nico is talking about, because, you know, he done had the experience. And, you know, you definitely want to, you know, learn from people that have been in those positions. And I talk about it on a few of the different episodes. A smart man learn from his own mistakes, a wise man learn from the mistakes of others. So, you know, with you done been through that process. So it's only wise for the young guys to take that information, take that experience, and, you know, implement it into their life, and, you know, so they can, you know, level up and get to the next level. So before we start wrapping things up, man, what advice would you give to a young Nico Johnson that's going to be watching this, either when it first uploads, a year from now, even 5 years from now when they watch this? What advice would you give to a young Nico Johnson?
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never. That's the first time I've ever been asked that. That's different.
Yeah, I do my thing. I don't get my Shannon Sharp on. You feel me?
No, man. The one thing I would tell guys, man, is, you know, figure out your inner circle right now. And this is everything I'm about to say is from experience. Figure out your inner circle right now. It don't need to be too big, and it don't need to be crazy. You don't have to have all this, all that. You
Entourage and all that.
Circle.
Right.
And so that way, whenever, you know, you're going through life, you're going through tough times, because you can't get away from it. You're going to have good times and you're going to have bad times. The quicker you find your inner circle and people you can rely on, you can trust, and vice versa, that's going to have your back through good and bad, is so much. I don't even know how to explain it, man. It's I wish, and let me back up. I'm gonna back up for you. I didn't find my inner circle. I didn't find my true inner circle until
Yeah.
after I was done playing. And
Right.
so that was the big mistake I made, because when things got tough for me, I just had that shield on as a man. I
Yep.
don't want to express my feelings. And so
Facts.
because I didn't have the right people around me, I couldn't express that. So when I did express it, it came out as anger
Right.
at the wrong times. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I say find an inner circle. But the one thing I really would tell is man, enjoy this.
Right.
Because I didn't enjoy none of it. I was blessed to have the opportunity, but I didn't enjoy none of it. Enjoy, playing the game you love and getting to go out there and do what you do, man, and just enjoying it. Because a lot of people, man, you'll ask, man, they don't enjoy that next level because of the business side. Forget that, man. It's still the game.
Right.
Enjoy it, and enjoy the process. Enjoy everything about it, man, because it's a beautiful thing. Football taught me a lot about life. It's a beautiful thing, man. And so one thing I would tell enjoy playing the game of football, man, because at the end of the day, like you said earlier on here, expiration date is coming.
Yep.
Just don't know when.
Right.
And so you got to maximize that opportunity, man. And so if I had a young Nico Johnson in front of me right now, man, I would tell him to maximize opportunity. Stop worrying about what people think. Stop worrying about what the internet says. Stop worrying about rankings, this and that. Go out and take care of your responsibility on and off the field, and everything else is going to take care of itself. Because I did a bad job of getting caught up in what people are saying on social media, what people are saying, whether it's family or friends,
Right.
that was negative, and it affected my play and affected me as a man. And so I tell guys all the time, man, they don't have to put themselves through that. Just go out, take care of business, man. All those people that's negative, they're going to end up changing the narrative. You're going to change the narrative by you taking care of business, and they're going to
Right.
change their narrative whenever you take care of business. And so, yeah, man, that's a question, man. You're going to have me thinking about that all night now.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Hey, I try to do my thing, man. I try to do my thing. You feel me? So dope, bro. So who would you like to see on Locker Room Talk with Coop? Now, before you say that, whoever you say, you got to help connect me with that person or a couple people. So who would you like to see on the show?
Trying to think. I got a guy here, man, that I work with, Jamarian Roscoe, played at LSU.
No, we talking about Bama. We talking about Bama.
We just Bama.
Yeah.
Just Bama.
Yeah. And then when we do, you
I'm
already. Hey, look, you already messing up what I'm trying to do. Like I already know. Like I'm saying, no. When I do different schools and we do that.
Okay,
That's what I mean. We can, we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. It's a process. I gotta trust the process.
But I'm gonna give you his number anyway. So
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I gotta trust the process. You know what I mean? It's little by little.
Right.
You feel me?
I apologize.
Yeah. But that's coming. That's coming.
But Bama, man, I think Kevin Norwood. I think Kevin Norwood because, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people don't realize what Kevin Norwood has been through as a man and as a football player. Because he's actually at UL with us as well.
Okay.
And so he's coaching as well, running backs and receivers. And so I think Kevin Norwood would be the guy to get on to hear his story, man, because he's been through similar, and I think he's going through that stage of trying to figure out, because he's a father of two,
right,
married, all that, and doing good for himself. But I think, just conversations we had, he need to get it out. He need to let it out. I think him, Eddie Lacy, because just being honest, we've heard the stories about, the overweight and all that, but have we heard why? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know he probably will want to talk about that, man, to help somebody else out, the next person out, to don't go down that road. So them two, man, honestly, Damian Square is a guy that you need to get on here, man, because the guy has had odds against him from day one. You know, whether they say he wasn't too big and he held it down, you know, the whole 9 yards as far as, you know, him in the league, they were saying he didn't get drafted high. And he's been in the league going almost 10 years, just won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I think he's one of them guys, man. I'm going to hit him up here soon and talk to him for you. He's one of the guys that you need to get on, man, because his story, his story is that's what people need to hear, man. But those 3 guys, man, I'm gonna get them in contact with you, man, because that they got stories that people need to hear. That people need to hear, man. Whether it's, I think Noah Wood is, as far as, you know, his situation at Bama, you know, whether it was playing time and all that, and then, you know, D Square from how he grew up to where he is now, to a father, to a husband, and you know, and Eddie Lacy's situation, whether it was at Green Bay and how he handled that, and, you know, the mentality, and it's I ain't gonna get into detail about it all. Let them tell you, but they got some stories, man. That what you're doing will be perfect for. And so, man, I'm definitely gonna get you in contact with him. I'm definitely gonna get.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. We
easy.
we definitely gonna make that happen. And I know too, when you was talking about, you know, when we making that transition, especially with, you know, Kevin Norwood, you know, every time when I saw him, I always thought he was a quiet guy. Like he really didn't say much. But, you know, what I done learned, man, is men, like you were saying, getting that stuff out. You know, the more we reveal, the more we heal. So not only are we helping people by sharing our story, but we also helping ourselves and healing more by getting that stuff out. You know what I mean? Because if you keep that stuff in, man, you only hurt yourself. You feel me? So so like you said, definitely get that stuff out. So not only it can help the next person, but also help his process too. So his healing process. So bet we gonna make that happen, brother. So let the people know, you know, your social media handles so they can continue to follow your journey.
And I need to change it, but it's Johnson35 boy on Twitter, man.
Okay.
The same thing, man. I actually need to change it. But yeah, man, I'm coaching ball here in Louisiana, man. Been blessed, man, and probably this may be my last year here. I'm trying to, you know, take that next step, man, growing this coaching. But Johnson35 boy, man, that's my handle, man.
Okay, dope. And I'm gonna have my intern Taylor. She go put, you know, your information up under you. So dope, man. So that's another episode of Locker Room Talk with Coop. Make sure you guys like, comment, share this video. Somebody y'all think will enjoy it. And also, man, hit those red letters that says subscribe for your boy, and hit that bell beside that subscribe button so y'all can get notifications. And Nico family, I appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Yes, sir.